What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs Week 2 Super Bowl rematch. Just got a little bit more difficult. We'll talk about why that is right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another video on my channel. So we got some breaking news this afternoon, and this is from Adam Schefter of ESPN. He says the NFL is fining Eagles defensive tackle Jaylen Carter over $57,000 for spitting on Dak Prescott. The league also says the game he was ejected for will serve as a one-game suspension. After talking to the Eagles, the NFL, and the NFLPA, Jaylen has decided not to appeal and focus on the Chiefs game, said Carter's agent, Drew Rosenhaus. So that is the breaking news. That means Jaylen Carter will be playing against the Kansas City Chiefs in that Week 2 Super Bowl rematch. So first thing I want to get out of the way, and my first thought when I saw this is, okay, the NFL is not conspiring to rig every single game in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Otherwise, Jaylen Carter would have been suspended for this game, because I know that's the narrative always. Now, at the same time, there's the other extreme, which is Chiefs fans saying this is BS. How can Jaylen Carter be allowed to play? How can the game he was ejected from be his suspension being served? Like, under that logic, couldn't Rashee Rice technically be able to play because he got injured? Not the same thing. Not apples to apples, guys. First of all, Rashee Rice getting hurt, he's not going to get credited for serving his suspension because he got hurt. It sucks for him, but that's not how it works. Jaylen Carter was already punished for said incident by being ejected, and the NFL is saying that punishment that we already gave him is enough in this situation. Now, you may not agree with it, but it at least makes sense, right? Now, that said, I never really have seen the NFL say, yeah, this game you got ejected from counts towards your suspension, your time served, because when Myles Garrett got ejected and then suspended for the helmet hitting incident, or the helmet swinging incident, they never said, oh, well, the game he was ejected from was his suspension, part of his suspension. Granted, that game was almost over when that happened, but still, never quite seen that before. But hey, it's the NFL, man. You just have to expect the unexpected. There really isn't a consistent theme when it comes to the NFL handing out these punishments. But of course, hey, the Kansas City Chiefs have a tall task on their hand now, because they have to block Jaylen Carter in Week 2. And look, guys, the Kansas City Chiefs struggled in the trenches in Week 1 on both sides of the ball. And look, when I say that, because I know some people will say, well, Josh, the offensive line was fine. And it was for the most part. Like, it's not like Patrick Mahomes is being pressured on every single drop back like he was in the Super Bowl. But they missed a lot of run blocks in the running game. Penalties from Jawan Taylor and Josh Simmons. Kingsley had that quick pressure, that quick loss, which was on the Patrick Mahomes deep bomb to Hollywood Brown in a Chiefs late attempt to win the game. People just kind of missed it because it was an awesome play by Mahomes and Hollywood Brown, but Kingsley got beat really bad on that play, which is what caused Mahomes to roll out to his right so quickly. And the Chargers defensive line really isn't all that. They have some good players. Khalil Mack's talented, but like, he's getting up there. He's not what he once was. They don't have Joey Bosa anymore. A lot of average to slightly above average players on that Chargers defensive line, but no one that really overwhelms you. The Philadelphia Eagles, on the other hand, have guys that can overwhelm you. And man, this is an opportunity for the Eagles to just exploit some of these matchups against the Chiefs offensive line, because you got Joshua Uche, by the way, the former Chief, who I think is going to be out for revenge in this game after getting benched in Kansas City and looking fantastic in Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. I'll probably have more on that situation later in another video. But the Eagles still have some dudes in that D-line, Jaylen Carter included. And you got Kingsley, who's a rookie. You got Jawan Taylor, who can't learn to stop jumping early. And the Chiefs are kind of staring 0-2 down the barrel right now. And the matchup that we thought might get a little bit easier, well, it's not so much easier because Jaylen Carter will play. Now, I do want to talk about another concern I have about this matchup specifically. But before we do that, I did want to show you guys a message from our partners on this channel. Let's check it out. Wanted to take a moment to shout out our partners on this channel over at W Energy. Guys, if you have not heard of W Energy, you're absolutely missing out right now. If you're someone like me that needs that jolt of energy when you first wake up in the morning, or when you're trying to take on a big task for the day, such as working out, or maybe trying to complete a project for school, anything like that, W is an essential. I'm someone that unfortunately has gotten into the bad habit of drinking a lot of caffeinated energy drinks filled with sugar or artificial sweeteners or flavors, but I'm trying to curb that now by using W Energy, which is a much better alternative. W is a powered energy drink that replaces other inferior caffeine beverages. It contains zero harmful chemicals, zero fillers, zero artificial colors or dyes, and no proprietary blends. The star of the show is their coffee fruit extract, which helps you focus without the jitter or the crash of other energy drinks or caffeinated drinks out on the market. And they just sent me their Japanese yuzu flavor that I've been drinking recently. It is absolutely fantastic. One of the better tasting energy drinks that I've ever had, and I'm going to continue to use it and check out some of their other flavors as well. I encourage you all to do the same, and luckily for you, you can use my promo code SHOWMEFB by clicking the link down below and putting that promo code in when you go to checkout, and you can get an additional 10% off. Stop drinking those unhealthy energy drinks and start drinking W Energy instead. Go check out their stuff. They're going to be partnered with me all football season long. Go and check them out. So yeah, guys, definitely you're going to want to go and take advantage of that sale down in the description below by using my promo code. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit more insight on why this is really bad news for the Kansas City Chiefs, Jaylen Carter being allowed to play in this game. We can have the outrage discussion in the comments below about the fact that he's allowed to play, but there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can change about it. Now you have to deal with it, and that's going to be a whole nother thing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to show you guys this chart. This is from PFF. Now, keep in mind, this is a small sample size. Only 1 week of football has been played so far, and it doesn't account for opponent or anything like that. But this is from PFF, and it is a pass protection chart. Going up the graph, you can see that is the pass blocking win rate of teams' offensive lines. And then going to the right of the graph, from left to right, we got their PFF grade. So going from left to right, that's what PFF thinks of the offensive line. Going up and down, that is your team's win rate. Now, PFF thinks pretty decently of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line after week 1. However, their actual pass block win rate indicates that the Kansas City Chiefs are not doing very well. And they're going up against one of the most ferocious defensive lines in the NFL. Granted, they did lose some pieces this offseason, but Howie Roseman reloaded by adding Joshua Uche, by adding Azeez Ojulari, giving guys like Jaylen Carter and Jordan Davis a bigger role. They just signed Zadarius Smith, who had 9 sacks last season. This is going to be a big test for the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line that struggled in week 1 to win a lot of their reps. And you have a lot of newcomers on this offensive line. You got guys that have been struggling. Jawan Taylor already touched on him. Like, this is not a very favorable matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs on the surface. And this is the team that blew you out in the Super Bowl mostly because they exploited this matchup. So this is going to be the first big test for Josh Simmons, for Kingsley Suamataia, the left side of that offensive line that the Chiefs did a lot of work on after what they did in the Super Bowl. They went out and, presumably fixed it. But we're going to get a real sense for whether or not they fixed it. And even if they don't look great in this game, I don't want to hit the panic button yet, specifically on Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia, because they're still young. Both of them are essentially rookies. So I'm not going to be hitting the panic button, but man, I think it's important that the Chiefs win this game and avoid that 0-2 hole, because then I think things can start getting a little scary, and it's just not going to be good for everyone involved. So unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to deal with Jaylen Carter this weekend, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. But those are just my general thoughts on the whole situation and what the Chiefs now have at hand. But I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments down below what your thoughts on are on this. Excuse me. Do you agree with the NFL's decision to not suspend Jaylen Carter, to consider the ejection his 1-game suspension? And then what is your concern level for the Chiefs offensive line versus Jaylen Carter and the Eagles D line in this game? Definitely let me know down below. With all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.